Ladies and gents, how are you? Another night with Ping is here for everyone. I hope you're all doing well in the chat. We have a lot to speak about tonight, but I wanted to say hello to Andrew Says, who was first in the chat tonight. Hello, Andrew. And Danny Mitchell, the chat celebrity here, demanding that I reply to him. Danny, I will reply to you on the show. There you go. Laura T is here. Catatonic, Woos, Marilyn Landis is here. Hello, Marilyn Landis. Sienna, my friend Sienna is here. The Thoris is here. Moonlight View, the moderator is here. Hello, Moonlight View. Robin Lane, Mel McIntyre, Iran. Sherry runs late. Beth B is here. Hello, my dear. Hope you are being okay. Kathy Lynch, Juicy Jules, Petunia. They're all here. Everyone is here. A little bit of a problem. My email is down right now. If you've sent me an email in the last, I don't know, day or so, I haven't got it. There's something going on where it's not updating correctly. So I will fix it and I'll get back to you. Just hold on. And Burnt Popcorn's here. Hey, Burnt Popcorn. Good to see you. Tonight is the story that everyone wants to talk about. Let me get it set up. And there was an update a couple of hours ago. It's Danielle Becker Friedland, 36. She went missing. So we're going to talk about that in a second if I can get everything set up. Hey guys, how are you? Good to see you. We're here live from a very wet and rainy, drizzly Melbourne today. It's very, very rainy outside. There's, raindrops on the windows and can hear the cars in the highway and stuff going through the water. Hey, Cheryl Huffman, good to have you here. So, let's talk a little bit about Danielle. Now, I'm using Crime Online because they actually got an update a couple of hours ago where my other link did not get an update. It says here the husband of missing California woman says she may be somewhere in the downtown Houston area. It says here Danielle Becker Friedland, 36, checked her baggage at Houston's George Bush Intercontinental Airport on Wednesday night, but never boarded the plane. Family members said she was scheduled to fly to San Francisco. Yes, apparently she is from the Bay Area. It says here Friedland's husband Jordan said friends and family traveled to Houston following leads on her last known location. They have been scouring the Houston area, checking downtown and a grocery store based on tips. He says, we have reason to believe she's in the downtown area. We still have friends and family there looking, and we won't give up until she is found. So it says here Friedland was in Houston for treatment at the renowned Menninger Clinic on Main Street. She reportedly had numerous health issues, including suicidal thoughts or what they call intrusive thoughts. The clinic released her after treatment, and she was scheduled to return home to California and complete outpatient treatment. She was on her way home to reunite with family, including her 2 and 5-year-old, after getting here in Houston at a special clinic. This is a photo of her there. So, if anyone, we have a lot of people here from Texas. If any of you have seen this woman anywhere, doesn't even matter if it's not in Houston, if you've seen her Houston adjacent, she could be anywhere in a day or two. So, anyone in that area, if you've seen this lovely woman, please call it in or get the tips to, uh, let's see, they probably have a tip line on here. Do they have one? Yes, they do. They want you to contact the Houston Police Department Missing Persons Division at 832-394-1840. And it says here, she is described as a white female who stands 5'1" and weighs around 100 pounds, has brown hair, brown eyes, and was last seen in a blue puffer jacket with blue and orange stripes and blue jogger pants. She was also carrying a black suitcase. It says here she'd been making progress with her treatment over the time. With diagnosis, therapy, and medication, she had made remarkable progress to the point that the clinic was ready to discharge her and send her home to her husband and her 2 young boys in California and have her continue treatment at home. Police said Friedland purposely left her phone at the airport and has no known connections in Texas. She left the airport with a cab and $160 in cash. That's really concerning. In fact, she left her luggage, or at least some of it, and her phone, almost like she didn't want to be tracked. When I first read about this story, and I didn't know about the mental health bit, I thought, oh, maybe it's a mum who's really burnt out and just wants to have a few more days on her own before she returns to the tornado of her own home. And I thought, well, I can understand that. But this is just a little bit more weird. I mean, she could have. It's interesting that she just left the clinic, though. You would think that they would have some sort of insight into whether she was okay to leave or not. Do we have a video of her at the airport? I don't know. Not that I've seen. Not that they've released. At least I haven't. I haven't seen it. Hold on. Let me see if I have a CCTV of her. No, I don't, and that's weird. You would have thought they might release that. No, I don't have a CCTV of her, unfortunately. I might have a little video we can play. Maybe it's in the video. I know that's a headline thing. No, I don't have anything like that. Laura G says, I hope her ideation didn't return. I know, right? I hope she didn't, for some reason, get triggered by going home. Maybe she had a moment where she panicked and thought, I'm not going to be okay without the help of the specialists or something. I could understand that as someone who suffers from anxiety, and I get it. I mean, I don't know what it's like to have that type of mental health issue, but I understand when things can set you off. They seem normal to other people, and to you, it's like the biggest thing in the world. So I get it. Let's see what KHOU tells us, which is the local paper down in Houston. I almost had a moment just then. I was like, oh, did that just happen? I'll show you. This scared me. It said missing Texas woman's body found in park in Victoria County. I was like, oh my God, did that just happen? But she's not from Houston or Texas. She's from San Francisco. This is a different story. I just wanted to try find if we had something about her, but let's see. I'm surprised this is not their front page story on KHOU. Yeah, it's not even on their front page. I find that interesting. This is the one that they have. Let's see what this video says.
The family of a missing California woman who was supposed to fly home from Houston desperately wants to know where she is.
We love you. We hope you're safe. We're here for you.
We're learning what the woman did before disappearing from Bush Airport.
Tonight, the family of that missing woman is checking homeless shelters and hoping for tips on where she might be.
Yeah, they say the mother of two, Danielle Friedland, did not get on her flight home to San Francisco at Bush Airport 5 days ago, and she hasn't been heard from since. Jason Miles talks with the missing woman's husband about the search. And Jason, why was she in Houston in the first place?
Hey there, guys. She was here getting mental health treatment at the very well-known Menninger Clinic, but Danielle Friedland's disappearance resulted in her husband's first ever trip to Houston and Texas, a trip he never expected to make. This photo of Danielle, or Danielle Friedland, shows the jacket she was wearing last Wednesday when her family says she disappeared from Bush Airport. They say the 36-year-old mother of two checked her baggage but never boarded a plane bound for San Francisco.
My biggest fear is just honestly Danny's safety.
Husband Jordan Friedland is now in Houston with other family and friends, passing out flyers and doing as many interviews as possible.
We have a 2 and 5-year-old, and she's the best mom in the world, and their world won't be the same without her.
Friedland was supposed to have returned home for the holidays after being discharged from the Miniger Clinic for mental health issues. In a statement, the clinic CEO said, quote, "We are aware of the news coverage about this unfortunate event. Because of patient confidentiality, we cannot confirm the status of any patient or provide any information without patient consent. We are deeply saddened by this situation, and our hearts go out to the family. We all hope for her safe return."
There were a couple apparent sightings yesterday, but nothing has turned up yet.
Her family believes Friedland left the airport in a taxi with only $160 and a debit card, but without her luggage, cell phone, and other items. They visited homeless encampments like this today based on previous statements Friedland has made. They also met with HPD's homeless outreach team and say they're also working with churches and other community groups to try and find her.
We really want to just make sure Danny's safe. She really is an amazing person, and just want to bring her home and make sure she's safe.
Mr. Friedland tells me he met his wife while they were both students at the University of Michigan some 15 years ago. He's urging anyone out there who may know where she is to call police here in Houston or back in their hometown of Piedmont, California. Meantime, HPD does confirm they have an active missing persons investigation, and you can bet looking over surveillance video and trying to track down that taxi cab Friedland may have taken from Bush Airport will be part of what they do in the coming days.
You would think maybe the taxi driver might be able to tell him where he took her. Or did she say anything? Did she mention something? Did she talk at all? Or was it an Uber and he just sort of dropped her off wherever she wanted to go? I am very interested to find out what happened to this poor mom, and I hope she makes it back to her family. I'm sure they have already missed her for a period of time, being that she was in the mental health hospital for quite a while, and I'm sure they are desperate to have her home. And I'm just checking this one. This one's got a little bit more information. It says here she's from Piedmont, was last seen at the airport. Yep. It says she was also having a black backpack and a beaded bracelet, according to police sources. There's another up close photo of her. She looks like, your typical young mum. This is the fact that she checked her baggage in but didn't board the plane or contact her husband. And that she left her phone at the airport. It's really ominous. It really is. It's almost like it was deliberate. I mean, it seems like she wanted to not be tracked, and that's very concerning. I don't know. I hope someone can find her. Hey, LA, how are you? She says, take care, dear. I am listening. Okay, you can listen. Retired RN says, did they say she used a taxi or was it just a guess? I think they said she got a cab. But sometimes they use cab and Uber interchangeably. So I don't know if it was both or just trying to see here whether we got something on the cab. No. Let's have a look at this one. She left the airport in a taxi and $160 in cash and a debit card. They will be monitoring the debit card for sure to see if she uses it at all to purchase something. Okay, she left in a taxi. With the cameras at the airport, they must be able to track down the taxi at a minimum and find out maybe where she went or where he dropped her off. And maybe that'll make the search area smaller. Her husband said, our kids miss her more than anything in the world. She's the most amazing mom in the world, and the world is a better place with her and being a mom, friend, and community member. There's a photo of her and her husband and her 2 children. It's a very lovely young family. They look great. It's this bit that gets me. The fact that she intentionally left her phone at the airport. I really don't like that. And then we got this one. Let's get rid of that. There you go. Missing person at risk. Attention, Houston, Texas. Has a case file number 2023 11805. And it says here, just that she went missing. Diagnosed with depression, mood disorder, psychosis, and anxiety. That's not great. Can we get a longer view of that? It kind of cuts off. That's not a great combination. I hope she's not having a break into the psychosis. That would be bad. Investigators are reviewing video from the airport to see if they can get a feel from what happened to her. There's another photo of her with her 2 little kids. Anxiety and OCD personality disorder. So she's got a whole raft of things, and I'm pretty sure some of these fall under postnatal depression. I know that depression does. I know mood disorder, psychosis can too. Anxiety, OCD, and personality, they all sort of fit into that thing. So maybe she's been having a little bit of a post-baby kind of down period, which is it's awful. I wish we could give new mums more help. It says here she is suspected to. I wish that would stop doing that. See how it does that? It is suspected that she may be in downtown Houston, specifically the Trinity Park area. There were a couple of sightings yesterday on Sunday, but nothing has turned up yet. There's a photo of her in a puffer jacket. God, this site's so annoying. There's a photo of her in the puffer jacket, I guess. That's the one they and the backpack that she was wearing. That looks like she's at the airport. There's a baggage terminal there. So they must have CCTV of her. I wish they would release it. The family has been in Houston passing out flyers and hopes someone will recognize her. They've been working with churches and community groups in the area to help find her, including homeless encampments in Houston. And due to Friedland's previous statements, that's interesting. Maybe she's mentioned something in the past. The clinic where she was treated said, we are aware of the news coverage about this unfortunate event, but because of patient confidentiality, we cannot confirm the status of any patient or provide any information without patient consent. They said they are deeply saddened by the situation and their hearts go out to the family. I'm going to put the detective's email in the chat, just in case. Well, I'll put the whole thing. This is the contact details for the cops. Oh, you're not seeing them? I wish this thing would do what I say. When are we going to have mind control for computers? Stop. Sometimes it just doesn't want to be my friend. Here. Wait, hold on. Ah, it was on the wrong. There you go. There you guys go. Let's go back. This is the one I was showing you. There you go. Sorry, it's hard to see. When I'm on the other page, I can't see. Even if you guys type 100 different things, I can't see. Because once you're on the other page reading, can't see anything. Can't see the chat. Need another monitor here. Then I can see you guys yelling at the screen. There's her missing kind of poster. You guys can get a good look at her. I was complaining about this. See that? Every time you move it, you get this drop down New York Post type thing like that. It's so annoying. And then I was showing you the pictures of her and her boys. There you go. It's a nice photo on a hiking trail or something like that. And there was another one. Oh, here. Here's the airport one. I was showing you. This is, see? And there's a baggage carousel. So they obviously have some sort of that's really annoying. Some sort of CCTV of her. Someone took a photo, or you know, they have some sort of video of her. Is there any others? There's a photo up close of her. That New York Post thing. I'm gonna kill you. I really will. There we go. There's a family photo of him. It's a very nice photo. And there's a photo that everyone knows of her. Hey, Misha, how are you? Good to have you here. Juicy Jewel says, yes, release with only next of kin. Oh, maybe they didn't want to. You're right. Maybe they did not want to do any, maybe they didn't want to release it for some reason. Yeah, it sort of looks like someone took the photo from behind her, right? This one, if we go back down here, that one. It's almost like someone took that photo. I don't know. Maybe it's a composite photo. Maybe someone took this photo from another time that she wore this outfit, and then they overlaid it into a photo of the airport to try to jog people's memory. I don't know. I thought maybe that's a thing, because when she was at the airport, she wasn't missing yet. So why would someone take a photo of her? Unless she got caught up in a photo of someone else. Like they're taking photos of their family or something, and then they found her in the photo. I don't know. Juicy Jewel says, wants to escape to find a new life. Could be. Hey, yep, another Maria is here. Good to see you. Danny Mitchell says, a lot of psychotics in homeless population. Well, a lot of undiagnosed and people who are diagnosed but not taking their medication. Hey, Bees Are Live. Good to have you here. Nice to have you here tonight. All right. I really don't have any more information on her, unfortunately. If we get anything else, if we get any breaking news, I will definitely tell you. I just want to check one quick thing before we stop with her. Let's have a look. Really, my post about her is like the top thing in Twitter. How does that work? There's a couple of Twitter posts. I'm going to retweet that one so people can read the KHOU one, and I'm going to retweet the Missing People in America Twitter account. Says here, KHOU News 11 Houston said police think they intentionally ditched her phone. She's considered high risk due to her mental illness and ideation of self-harm. But that's it. There's like 4 posts on Twitter. That's a shame. Let's get her name out there, right? Let's try and bring her home. All right, let's go to our next story of the night. Let's do that. Let me just put her missing poster up one last time. There we go. While I get another story for you all. And we'll talk about the next thing on our list for tonight. You know, I was researching a little more into the Brittany Drexel. I watched the documentary yesterday, and I never realized that there was a whole heap of drama associated with a specific podcast who were bashing the friends that she went with. And while I had been critical of the friends too, because I figured that even though they weren't close friends, they still went together and maybe should have looked out for each other. But it was more like a lesson to be learned rather than it's their fault. More like if you go with people, just make sure your friends are safe. But it's yeah, apparently there was a whole drama about some podcast bashing those friends and calling them names. And all right, here we go. Are you going to share for the people in the chat? Come on. Here we go. Hey, there we go. Says here, if it'll let me, wife of Gilgo Beach suspect gets a documentary deal. It says here, ASO has scored a documentary deal, and that's the reason that she was at the prison visiting her ex-husband. It says here, after Rex Heuermann was arrested in July and accused of slaughtering women found bound in burlap and buried along a desolate stretch of Gilgo Beach, his family was left reeling and destitute. With the dilapidated Massapequa Park ranch house turned inside out by investigators, Mr. Heuermann's wife, Asa, and their 2 grown children were left to sleep on mats and cook on a grill in the front yard in full view of news crews and true crime gawkers. Things got so bad that the daughter of a West Coast serial killer created an online fundraiser. But where some saw evil, depravity, and tragedy, media companies saw pay dirt, swooping in with lucrative bids to turn the whole thing into content. Peacock, the streaming service owned by NBC, is paying the family to participate in a documentary series covering the family through the Heuermann trial, which is likely to begin next year. The intense bidding for Mrs. Ellerup's story and the payment caused an outcry from relatives of women whose remains were found in the Gilgo Beach area, including those of Shannon Gilbert, whose disappearance several miles from Gilgo Beach in 2010 led to the recovery of other victims. It says here, disappointed, disgusted, and flabbergasted. Frustrated are just a few words that come to mind right now, her sister Sherry Gilbert wrote in a social media post. The way that the media will buy stories to further re-victimize, re-traumatize, and exploit the families and victims of serial killers is evil. I kind of agree with her. And I think that they're also sort of picking on Asa too in a way because of her vulnerability. Who's going to turn down $1 million? You know what I mean? And she will further put her life on display so that they can get content. It's very sort of, grubby. Hey Nancy S, how are you? Juicy Jules says, Ping, do you have pets or horses, a farm? I have this guy here. He's right here. Candy Williams says, it's horrible that LE can tear apart your entire home and leave it like that. I agree, and I've seen it done to people who have been charged with minor crimes, and they'll smash in your door, rip your stuff up, and I really feel like they should have to pay for some of it. Anything they destroy, they should have to pay for, even if it is trying to get to a bottom of a crime. It's still destroying people's stuff, and the person who committed the crime may not be the main homeowner, and your only recourse is to sue. So, Danny Mitchell says, how old are his kids? I think they're fairly old now, right? Let's have a look. I want to say like they're almost adults or are adults now. So Victoria, one of his daughter, is 26. His son, who has some disability, is that the correct word? He is 33. So they are sort of grown up. They're not little babies or anything. But I think Christopher still needs some help. Misha says it would be the taxpayers paying for it. From, if if the police had to pay for it. Well, I mean, I guess. Juicy Jewel says she has the most beautiful long hair kitty. Comes on my back deck morning, night, eat, but will not get near me. Oh, she's a wildcat? Fair enough. They can be a bit skittish. This guy here is very skittish. He likes to run away from everything. I'm surprised he's sitting here right now. Alright, back to our story about Rex. It says here, Peacock officials declined to comment on the planned documentary or disclose how much they were paying Mrs. Ellerup. As long as none of the money flows to Mr. Hewerman, the arrangement would skirt New York laws that prohibit defendants from selling their stories to the media. As Miss Ellerup's financial fortunes have lifted, so has her profile. Recent weeks have seen her visiting Mr. Hewerman in jail for the first time and making her debut appearance at a court hearing with a Peacock film crew in tow. As it has been at her home, Miss Ellerup herself appears more composed than the figures she cuts upon returning to the house that overnight became a notorious landmark. Prosecutors say Mr. Hewerman, a Manhattan architect and suburban father, killed 3 women as he hired as escorts and wrapped them in burlap for burial at Gilgo Beach on Long Island's South Shore more than a dozen years ago. The grisly details shocked the public and reopened wounds for relatives of 11 people whose remains were found along the same stretch of oceanfront. Miss Ellerup, 59, had filed for divorce days after the arrest and distanced herself from Mr. Hewerman, avoiding his pretrial hearings and declining to visit him in jail. You know, I wonder what people think now who gave to the fundraiser for her, because I kind of believe that money was always going to come to her for some media deal, whether it was 60 Minutes or, you know, Dateline, something like that. And she got Peacock, which is even bigger. You know, it could have been Netflix, anything. So I find that interesting what people might think now and whether they still consider it, you know, a worthy cause. Or, I mean, I have no opinion on it, but I just want to know what people feel about it. Because I know I read a couple of comments on Reddit. A couple of people who did give to it felt a little betrayed in a way. They said that they felt like she had nothing, so they decided to help her out. But then she turns around and signs this $1 million deal, and it feels like she didn't even need their money. So, hey, Shad Hunter, Mr. Floating Head, how are you? Nancy S says because they can't afford their meds. Yes. Kenny Williams says Asa had been undergoing cancer treatment. I find that interesting too. Don't they tend to do that with some hospitals? I'll put this on the screen. Kenny Williams says, and Asa had been undergoing cancer treatment. They could have given the family a voucher to stay temporarily in a hotel or something. That's a good point. Like the fact that she came back to her home and cooked in the front yard. I'm not trying to be down on her. It's interesting. Were there no support services for, you know, through the court or something like that, or the local, you know, local whoever who takes care of situations like this? Candy Williams says it will be super interesting to hear about things in Asa's own words. I want to hear what she has to say about being there at some of the sex parties with the escorts present. At least one escort has come forward saying that she was in the home at the time of the sex parties. So I want to hear what her explanation is for that, because a lot of people said that she had no idea what her husband was up to or what he did. And while I think she did, I think she had some sort of idea. I mean, I don't know if she knew he murdered people, but I have a feeling she may have known he was seeking other arrangements. Let's put it that way. What did LA say? I agree. They would have to have some sort of insurance, right? You're right. So why can't they fix like doors or windows that they smash or carpet that they cut up or bathtubs that they cut to pieces or taps that they take out the piping to get samples from? I mean, if you did that to anyone else, you would be expected to fix it. But some reason police are above the law just because they're executing a search warrant. So no, I think they should have to pay for it and make the home better, at least livable. I think that's it's not okay. They should have some sort of like liability insurance that they can claim through because of the work they do. Hey Leisha, how are you? She says, I'm a law clerk in insurance. $1 million is crazy. Misha says, I agree, it's having to pay for it. Yeah, I think so. Okay. Mel Max says, Ellie has qualified immunity. That's a shame. So you wouldn't be able to sue them to get your damages because of that, I guess. Danny. Danny says, life's rough when you're a criminal. I think it's more about the families. Like, the families still have to live in their homes, right? Even if the husband is arrested, there's still children and family that have to live in a home. Maybe it's their only choice. They don't have somewhere else to go. I mean, I don't know. You can make a case for either side, but this is very interesting. So at a minimum, we should see a documentary on Peacock sometime late next year because we have to go through the trial first to wrap it up. What else does it say here? It says here, she was not charged, and investigators have said she was away on trips when the killings happened. Her lawyer, Robert Macedonio, said she knew nothing about the killings and that the only thing she knows about the charges is what's been reported in the media. She wants to believe that the spouse she's been married to for 27 years wasn't capable of these crimes. She wants to see and hear the evidence as it plays out in the courtroom. It says here many people do. True crime is a booming category of entertainment that encompasses documentaries, scripted series, and audio. The genre makes up 24% of the nation's most popular podcasts, including, or according to, the Pew Research Center. Well, the Gilgo Beach is almost like one of the crowning jewels in true crime. It's very similar to the Golden State Killer. Those two are almost like the East Coast and the West Coast version of each other in a way. I mean, in notoriety. It's almost like you got your West Coast version, your East Coast version, and they sort of sit above a lot of other true crime stories or cases, crimes, whichever word you want to use. Let's see, anything else on our friend from Gilgo? It says here, Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Turney said in an interview that Mrs. Ellerup's involvement with the documentary was going to affect her credibility. She's trying to capitalize on her husband's notoriety and make herself marketable. He said, but the truth isn't always marketable, and the money itself could be a motivation to lie. For Miss Ellerup to speak about Mr. Heuermann to a film crew carries the inherent risk that what she says can't be used against her criminally. John Ray, a lawyer who represents relatives of Miss Gilbert and Jessica Taylor, whose remains were found in the Gilgo area. They are all walking on extremely thin legal ice, Mr. Ray said, who called it implausible that Miss Ellerup knew nothing about her husband's deeds and said that she should be considered a suspect and investigated accordingly. He said, she's still within the circle of suspicion in this case, and so are the children. He said, anything she says is very dangerous. Yeah, I mean, I sort of agreed that maybe it could have waited until after the trial was completed and the conviction upheld. Says here the size of Miss Ellerup's payment for participating is unconfirmed. The News Nation network reported she would receive $1 million. And it said basically $400,000 was going on lawyer fees for her lawyer, and 200 grand was going on her children's lawyers. So after tax, she'll probably walk away with what? Nothing? So what if that's 600, 400,000 is probably going to go to tax. So that's 40%. Probably, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. All right, that's it for our update on Miss Miss X Human, Miss Ellerup. Let's see. Danny Mitchell says she could afford to travel but not eat in a restaurant. I decry BS. Yeah, she traveled quite frequently, right? And then said she had no money. So Diane Marie says the house was a mess before the search. The search just made it worse. Possibly. Hey, Leisha, did I say hi? Hi, Leisha, how are you? Yeah, he fell asleep. Hey, buddy. He likes to sleep up there when I do the shows. I have no idea why. All right, let's get you another story for tonight. If I can find it. It seems to be my problem if I can find it. All right, hold on. Hold on, my friends. All right. Read the headline. Florida woman stabs boyfriend in the eye with a rabies needle for looking at other women. It's always something out of Florida. It says here a Florida woman has been charged with aggravated battery after her boyfriend said she stabbed him in the eye with a rabies needle. It says Sandra Jimenez, 44, was in an argument with her boyfriend about him looking at other women. When the two arrived back at their home, the boyfriend told police he laid down on the couch and Jimenez pounced on him with 2 rabies needles they had for their dogs. According to the arrest affidavit, the victim was pierced in one eyelid and was transported to a local hospital for care. Jimenez fled the scene immediately after the attack. Police arrested her at a residence later that day after speaking with the victim at the hospital. Court records show she has pled not guilty to the felony charge of aggravated battery and is being held on house arrest. It says a public defender assigned to her case did not immediately respond to USA Today. What the hell? That's a very. Were you afraid his eyes had rabies and he was looking at other women? So maybe his eyes were crazy and you're like, I can cure it. I have rabies needles. Come here. I will stab you in the eyeballs and it'll cure your wandering eye. Maybe that's what she was thinking. Let's see if I. All right, guys, give me 2 seconds. I have to fix something. It's really windy and it's going to knock something down. 2 minutes. All right, we're back. Hey, the Thoris. Thoris says, I love pink shows. Well, thank you. We're trying very hard. It's been a little bit of a rough journey starting this channel. It really has. And there's been times where I've wanted to just not do it anymore, but we'll keep going. And we hit 10,000 views a couple of days ago on all the videos. So that's pretty good. And I think we're about 440 people away from being able to monetize the channel. It's a while away, so hopefully we get there eventually, because it would be nice to be able to turn the ads on. Sorry for people who don't like ads, but it would be a way to fund the channel without having to run the donation bot and things like that, which eventually I would like to get rid of, and then just do a Patreon or something like that where you guys can get extra content for a small subscription fee, rather than just doing the donation thing. But right now, that's all we can do. We can't put any super chats. We can't do any memberships until we get to like 1,000. So Mel Max says 14,000 plus views. Is it? It went up? Oh, they gave me like a little banner thing in my channel saying 10,000, but must have gone up. Appreciate you telling me that. All right. Don't know why it did that. Yep, another Maria says, you're getting there. Your channel is good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hope so. LA says, hit me up if you want. I will. Right now, there's just no point. It's so small. Moonlight View can have a nap through the whole show if she wants, and not have to do much, because there's really not a lot of work. But when we need more work, I will definitely add more people for sure. The Thoris says, Nights with Ping. It was torture whenever I missed your show. Oh, thank you. It's very kind. I appreciate it. Danny Mitchell says you can buy me a copy. We tried that. We tried to do that through Streamlabs, and I had the link up, and everyone who tried to do it said it didn't work. No one was able to get it working for some reason. Even though it was connected on my side, I could see it was linked and that. Don't know. Don't know why it didn't work, but hopefully I think we'll end up just moving to Patreon at some point, because I want to do the Friday night documentary viewing party. So once a week, you guys will be able to hang out with me for about an hour and watch a either new episode of something like Cold Justice, or you'll be able to hang out with me and watch whatever Dateline or something like that. And we'll be able to hang out in a Zoom and talk while we all watch the show together. And I think that would be a great Patreon perk for everyone. And we'll all get to just like sit there and watch the show and comment on it at the same time. I think that would be a good hour or so together. So, all right, let me grab our next story. No more rabies in the eye, okay? No more rabies in the eye. Just trying to see if there was an update, because remember we spoke about, was it this one? Did we talk about the 10-year-old boy who was shot dead? Yeah, we did yesterday, right? Apparently there's an update. Thought we read this one though, but I can show it to you. Omaha police say a 10-year-old boy is dead after allegedly being shot by his own father on Thanksgiving in what have been a case of mistaken identity. I think we read this one though. It says KETV reports that investigators believe McDonald shot his son after mistaking him for someone trying to break into his vehicle. Tragic in one word, extremely tragic, Omaha Police Captain Jeremy Christensen said. He will be taken into custody and booked for criminal homicide, use of a weapon to commit a felony, and possession of a firearm by a prohibited person. Several people were inside the home when the incident happened. All of them were questioned. The investigation is ongoing at this time, Omaha police say. Further updates will be provided by OPD later on. How awful that there's a little boy, only 10 years old, has no that's tragic. What's that? What do they say that if you own a gun, you're most likely to shoot someone in your family or something like that? All right. I think we read that one the other night. Let me see if I can get this link up for you. Here we go. This is pretty breaking news.
The Action News, live at 5.
The family of a young woman found dead in Madera County is sharing more about her life. The cousin of 19-year-old Melanie Camacho is speaking only on Action News tonight.
Like, how could you be so cold-blooded? Not think about anything the moment that you were doing something so disgusting like this.
The sheriff's office says her remains were found on farmland off Avenue 20. Authorities made 2 arrests in connection with her murder. And thanks for joining us tonight for Action News Live at 5. Good evening. I'm Warren Armstrong.
And I'm Graciela Moreno. Reporter Vince Ibarra joins us live with a story that you'll only see on Action News and how the family hopes to remember Melanie. Vince.
Well, Graciela, Warren, the family is just devastated, as you can imagine. They tell me Melanie loved children and she wanted to be a school teacher, but now she won't be able to accomplish that goal because of one man's actions.
She didn't deserve to die, especially not this way.
19-year-old Melanie Camacho's family and friends gathered to remember her life. From Cars to Disney characters, her family holds tight to what she loved the most. Her young cousins say they are heartbroken they won't get to see Melanie ever again.
She was a very kind, sweet girl. She would always like try to keep us safe, and she was like an older sister to me.
The 19-year-old was an only child and developed an unbreakable bond with her young cousins.
I'm gonna miss all the memories we have of all of her cousins.
Melanie's remains were found in a farm area off of Avenue 20, just west of Highway 99. The Madera County Sheriff's Office says her ex-boyfriend, 23-year-old Vicente Jasso, was the man who killed Melanie. The Sheriff's Office also arrested 22-year-old Jose Lopez Hernandez as an accessory to her murder.
To the family of Melanie, we're deeply sorry for your loss. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, especially as we approach Melanie's 20th birthday.
Investigators are still trying to figure out what led up to Melanie's death. The Sheriff's Office encourages anyone with information to contact detectives. Melanie's cousins say her parents feel like their hearts have been ripped from their chests.
You know, they're all so young, all of them, everyone involved in this particular murder of Melanie. I mean, they all look like babies, yet they're committing some of the most heinous crimes known to mankind. And you see the devastation it brings to her family and her parents and her little sister. I mean, why would you want to cause that hurt to someone else or someone else's family over your own, priorities?
They've taken a life of a child who her parents will no longer see. The only child. They're devastated. They don't have their daughter that they had a reason to live for.
Family and friends say they will never forget Melanie's smile and infectious laugh.
Le gustaba mucho la tranquilidad.
And they plan to keep her memory alive forever. Now on Friday, the city of Firebaugh will light its Christmas tree early this year in honor of Melanie and what would have been her 20th birthday. The family has set up a donation page. That information can be found on our website. For now, live in Firebaugh, I'm Vince Ibarra, ABC 30 Action.
There you go. So let's have a talk about this one because I cannot believe it. It says here, 19-year-old Melanie Camacho's family and friends gathered to remember her life in her hometown of Fireball. From Cars to Disney character, her family is holding all of the things she loved tight. And we already heard about that. I want to talk about her murder, unfortunately. It says her remains were found in a farm off Avenue 20, just off Highway 99. There's a photo of her. The Madera County Sheriff's Office says her ex-boyfriend, 23-year-old Vincent Jasso, or Hasso, was the man who killed Melanie. Deputies arrested 22-year-old Jose Lopez Hernandez as an accessory to her murder. Imagine being that, 23 years old, and then your buddy, 22 years old, are now a murderer and an accessory to murder of your buddy's ex-girlfriend. That's the life you made for yourself. It says here, to the family of Melanie, we are deeply sorry for your loss. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, especially as we approach Melanie's 20th birthday, just shy of her 20th birthday. She'll never get to see it. Investigators are still trying to figure out what led up to Melanie's death. The sheriff's office encourages anyone with information to contact detectives. Melanie's former high school is speaking out following her death. They released a statement. I'm not going to read it. It's very long. It says here, they've taken the life of a child who her parents will no longer see, the only child. They're devastated. They don't have their daughter that they had a reason to live for. And that's one of the most devastating things. A lot of these people who have just one child often feel like their own future has been taken away from them when their only child is killed. It's like, who's going to take care of them when they get older? Who are they going to have bring to parties or, celebrate life events for? And you're not going to get the wedding or, anniversaries to help celebrate different milestones in their own life. And it's very, very hard for the family. And I can't imagine what that would be like to go through. Moonlight View says cowards. They are cowards. And if this ends up being something like, what would you call it? Like, angry ex-boyfriend kills ex-girlfriend for breaking up with him. I mean, I hope we don't find that out. Misha says, Ping, do you link your links below so we can see them better? I can. We don't normally do that. If we have one where it's difficult for people to read, I will put them in the chat for people. Let me see if I can grab this one for you. There you go. I Hate Mornings. Let's put this up on the screen. I Hate Mornings said, my granddaughter's dating worries me because already one guy didn't take a breakup very well. My granddaughter saw the attempt to isolate and control her, so she broke up with him. I think that is a good thing. I think she's already shown that she can see the signs of a bad, controlling, manipulative relationship, and she's taken affirmative action to stop it before she gets trapped in a life of abuse. So I think she's doing a good job. Misha says it would help a lot for followers for late attenders. I think there's a way to do bookmarks, but I have to figure out how to do it. So people can click on there's a thing you can click on where the timeline bar is, and then it can pop up and show you chapters. And then you can click on those and it'll have information. I have to figure out how to make that happen. I don't think we've ever used them on this channel or the other channel, but I will look into how they work. I Hate Morning says she's so busy working, cheerleading, plus college classes. Misha says it would help your channel. I'll have a look at it. I'll see what we can do. I don't know how we turn them on. I'll have to look. I don't think I can do it from here. That's interesting. Hold on. Interesting. Sorry, there was a new option that popped up. It's not anything to do with what we're just saying, but I just saw it there for the first time. All right. Yeah, I'll look into it, Misha. We'll see if we can do the chapters for people, so it's easier for people to break up the different stories each night. LA says, keep educating her. She'll read here eventually. Yeah, I think she's doing okay. I think she's obviously, she said she's a stubborn type A personality. But the fact that she already identified a bad relationship is pretty good. Some women either don't see it or find out too late, or, you know, end up after they're pregnant with kids, so they've got a more vested interest in staying, and then they end up getting caught up in a bad situation for a very long time. So I think for being so young, she's already on the right path. I think she's already got a great, you know, great bit of knowledge and experience, and she'll probably take that to her further relationships. And any guy that gives her any shit, she'll probably kick him out of her life. So just keep being there for her, being her grandmother and giving her good advice, and, you know, be the cool grandma who just gives her the good life advice that, you don't have to heap it on her, but just, give her a couple of words here and there every now and then, and she'll probably absorb it. Marilyn Landis' daughter met her husband in high school in marching band, married 18 years. That's pretty cool. Do they still do marching band? Do they still get out the drums and the what else do they do? Like the cymbals? Is that what they did at their wedding? They did marching band. I love those marching bands in the US. They're very cool. They're awesome. I mean, we don't do them here. And then you see them on the football, and they do all the marching and stuff and playing the music. It's pretty cool. All right. Let me tell you a little bit more about this, because I want to tell you a bit more about the backstory. We got a bit distracted. I wanted to show you the video because that was the latest update, but I wanted to tell you more about Melanie. If I can find my other link, which always seems to want to run away from me. Here. Maybe this one will have the better background that we need. So this is the background to it. It says a teenager who went missing after her shift at a Madeira auto parts store has been found dead, and 2 men have been arrested. Melanie Stephanie Rios Camacho, 19, of Fireborg, left the AutoZone store about 10:15 p.m. on Friday, November 24th at around 11 p.m. She texted her mother that she was going to meet a friend. When she was not home by 6:45 a.m. the next morning, Saturday, her mother reported her missing. Around 8:45 that morning, a vehicle was reported to be burning in a field about 20 miles west of Madeira. It was later confirmed to be Camacho's Nissan Altima. In their investigation, police detectives learned that Camacho had not met up with her friend, but said she planned to meet an ex-boyfriend to drop off or pick up an item. The witness report of a blue Ford Mustang in the area of the car fire was confirmed by surveillance video. Police said on Sunday night, detectives questioned the Mustang's owner, a 22-year-old Madeira man, and gained information that led them to an orchard west of the community of Berenda, where they found the human remains. The sheriff's press release Tuesday said the identification is not official. We know now it is, but the body is believed to be hers. Detectives identified a 24-year-old Madeira man as the primary suspect in the woman's death, and around 6:30 a.m. Monday, deputies attempted to pull him over as he was driving. He allegedly led them on a chase north of Turlock and then back south to Atwater, reaching a speed of 110. Around 7:50 a.m., the California Highway Patrol disabled the vehicle and he fled on foot to a nearby neighborhood before being taken into custody. Both men are being held in jail. The sheriff's release Tuesday didn't specify the charges for each, but we know now one is accessory and one is murder. And one of them was the ex-boyfriend. Very, very awful. I wonder if we have that police chase. Let's have a look. It'd be interesting to see that because they said they disabled the car. Let's see. Maybe I do. No, I don't. I thought maybe we had a video of it, but we don't. What was that suburbs? Hold on, let me see if I got the suburb. Maybe we can look it up via that. They often have these ones on the news, especially car chases in California. At least one news channel normally picks it up. Let's see. Let's see, Turlock maybe? No, I have one only like 5 days ago. Can't find one. I was hoping we might have had one, but DUI driver, stolen vehicle near Gardena. See what I mean? There's heaps of them, but not the one. No, nothing for this one, unfortunately, which is interesting. I thought for sure we would have got one. That's okay. All right, let's see what you guys are having to say in the chat. Marilyn Landis said, daughter was in Colorized 2 years, played oboe. Son-in-law March playing trumpet. That's pretty cool. Muffin cleaning himself? Sorry about that. Hey, Share Bear. Share Bear says, I wonder if they are saving it for his trial. It could be, because normally you do get them, especially around that area in California, because I cannot find it. I mean, I didn't look crazy hard or anything, but I did look up the area they intercepted his car. And normally you would find something, but so maybe they've taken the dash cam or something like that for his trial. All right, what time is it? 3:09. What time did we get on here? Sharebear says he was throwing her belongings out the window. Oh, really? Let's have a look. I gotta have another look now. Let's see if I can find. Let's see if I can find a car chase for his name. Jose Lopez Hernandez. Let's see if there's anything. Let's see if Law and Crime has it. If there was a police chase, they would have it in their article. I'm just checking their video with is it Annette? Yeah, there's no video in their article, so if there was one, they would definitely have had it. All right, sorry about that. No police chase, none for you. All right, let me check up here. You guys want one more story for tonight? One more. Here we go. Californian arrested for allegedly allowing teen daughter to sell nude photos online. A man is accused of allowing his 16-year-old daughter to sell nude photos online and being complicit in the profit, according to El Dorado County Sheriff's Office. In August, the Sheriff's Office said detectives began investigating a 16-year-old girl they learned had a very well-known online presence on a variety of social media platforms. During their investigation, officials said the teen was allegedly selling illegal content online and made up to $40,000. Detectives said the girl's father was aware of her online activity and the profits made from selling the photos. On November 15th, the sheriff's office said detectives served a search warrant on the father's home, and he was arrested for a variety of charges, including sex trafficking, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and child abuse. The sheriff's office said the investigation is ongoing, and anyone who has information regarding the case is urged to contact Detective Marquez at Marquez SC at El Dorado. I'll put it in the chat, or this number, but there's another link. A man knew his 16-year-old daughter was selling her naked body online and thought it was okay. That is disturbing. Oh, there we go. It says the El Dorado County Sheriff's Office said Scott Davis has been charged with sex trafficking and contributing to the delinquency of a minor and child abuse for his part in the scheme. They said in August they learned that the teen who had that very well-known platform was selling the nudes when they discovered that she was in fact grossing sales from the content and was making a lot of money from it. Detectives also discovered that the female's father, Scott Davis, was aware of the online activity and was complicit in the profit, which means he was probably getting money from his daughter. He was probably taking some of her money to, pay bills and, stuff like that. I mean, how do you even be okay about that? Here's a photo. I hope that's a photo of him and not a stock photo. That looks like an El Dorado sheriff. But let's see if we can find anything for Scott Davis in this county. It says here, the 16-year-old girl selling nude photos online, making the 40 grand. Father was reportedly involved, was booked into El Dorado County Jail earlier this month, where inmate records show his bail is set at $4 million. So he's on a $4 million bail. According to Sergeant Kyle Parker, the El Dorado County resident Scott Van Davis, 46, was aware of the online activity and complicit in the profit. He was arrested on felony charges including sex trafficking involving a minor, child abuse, and procuring a minor under 16 for a sex act, pimping for prostitution, and using a minor to create obscene matter for commercial purposes. So his charges got upgraded. He got upgraded from his original charges. The teen is not facing charges, Parker told the Mountain Democrat. EDSO sex crimes detectives, in conjunction with the High Tech Crimes Unit, began investigating Davis' online activities in August, noting Davis' daughter had a very well-known online presence on a variety of social media platforms. Davis was arrested November 15 after officers executed a search warrant at his residence. Davis remains in jail custody as of press time. I mean, that almost sounds like The charges read like child abuse. They almost read like he was making her do it in a way. Not like she was like, "Daddy, I wanna pose nude on the internet and get paid for it." And he went, "Yeah, that's okay. I don't mind. I think it's a great idea." It almost sounds like there was some sort of coercion there, because it says here, pimping for prostitution and using a minor to create obscene matter for commercial purposes. Those are completely different kettles of fish to then the other way around. Yeah, procuring a minor under 16 for a sex act. So that means that, he did something to enable it to happen. Not just be like, here's an internet connection, darling. Have fun. Have fun on OnlyFans. It's interesting that they didn't charge the girl. In some states, they will actually still charge the minor with making child pornography. So that also makes me think that there was some sort of coercion going on with the dad, because if she did it willingly, they often will charge the minor. Marilyn Landis says $4 million, and Moonlight View says, God, what if the daughter has the bail money? You think she's got 400 grand? They said she made 40 grand. I don't think she has 400 grand. I don't think it ran for long enough for her to get $400,000, because if it's a $4 million bond, he has to come up with 10% in cash, right? I don't think she has almost $500,000 just laying around. It doesn't sound like it anyway. LA brings up a good point. Where is it? Here. LA says kids need to be spoken with raising our children in the media. I think the education is getting better, but it's not perfect. And kids need to be reminded every day that what you do online doesn't go away, especially things like photographs. Photographs are permanent. Once you release it online, it'll be there forever. It doesn't matter if you delete it, it'll just be there till the end of time. So when you're 80 and you're like, I took some nude photos when I was 14 and put them online, you'll be able to look back at your 14-year-old self. It'll still be somewhere. Someone on the internet will still have it somewhere. So it's a good idea to remind kids that the delete button doesn't delete anything if someone else downloads it first. It's like a hydra. Once you chop off one head, it keeps coming back. It'll keep, resurfacing. So, but what an awful story. I find some of the charges and non-charges very telling about what may have happened in this situation, especially the fact that she wasn't charged with anything and that daddy was charged with pimping his daughter out. How terrible. Yeah, it says here, pimping for prostitution. There must have been some sort of, hold on. I want to check something. Okay. According to the California Penal Code 647B, prostitution generally defines prostitution as engaging in sexual conduct in exchange for money or any other compensation. Therefore, under this law, hold on. Therefore, under the law, share this tab, it's a crime to commit prostitution or solicit it. In other words, it applies to someone who offers sexual services and the person who accepts them. Further, you don't have to complete the proposed sexual acts to be arrested, charged, and convicted for violating prostitution laws. Further, to complete the crime of solicitation of a prostitution, as defined in the Penal Code, the perpetrator doesn't need to pay the agreed price to the prostitute. Criminal charges can be filed against both the prostitute and the so-called John, who are their customers. In addition, many prostitutes will have a pimp, deals with their financial matters. So he must have been dealing with her money. Therefore, they will usually face criminal charges under the pimping and pandering laws defined under Penal Code 266H and 266 IPC to be convicted for soliciting prostitution that allegedly violated PC 647B. A prosecutor must prove certain facts called the elements of the crime. For example, they have to show that you asked somebody to engage in the act of prostitution, had the intent to carry it out, and that the other person received the communication with your request. There must also be an overt act, such as verbally discussing money in exchange for sex or making an ATM money withdrawal for sex. If convicted of violating this law, you could face a jail sentence of up to 6 months and a $1,000 fine. Interesting. There you go. There is some insight into his charges. Very interesting. Let's see, LA. LA says not only photographs, but why are you choosing that? Choices. Yeah. I'm wondering if there's some coercion going on. Moonlight View says she also received money remuneration. Yeah. It's interesting, especially with the way the laws are worded. It definitely sounds like there was more to this story that I think once it goes to trial, we will definitely hear much more. Much, much more. Okay, let me wind up for the night. It was a fun night. I love hanging out with you every single day, Monday to Thursday, and on Sundays. It's great. I enjoy it. Allows me to talk about true crime and see all my friends in the chat. There's nothing better than that. And it's a very windy day here. I'm going to go try and rescue my washing line out the back at some point. All right. Let me just wind up the chat and say goodbye to everyone. Yes, thank you, everyone. I really enjoyed the show. Laura Thomas says, was she alone in the videos? We don't know. We'll find out at trial, I think. Sienna says, Daddy Dearest will plead out for a slap on the wrist. Maybe. That may be what's happened. I don't have a good story for you tonight, unfortunately. I didn't see anything that I really liked that was like sort of fluffy and cute. Sorry about that. I didn't see anything interesting. Apparently there is a breaking news. Hold on 1 second, guys. Guys and ladies and octopi. Let's see if I can get this to load. It looks like my net is having... Apparently there was a murder-suicide that just broke news in Australia. We might have to do it tomorrow night because I cannot get it to load now. But it says cops are investigating a murder-suicide in South Australia in the affluent beach suburb of Glenelg, North Adelaide. Police are investigating a murder-suicide. Here, you guys can see. For its sparkling, the suburb is known for its sparkling water, boats, restaurants, and fancy houses. The blast of violence started Tuesday about 1:30 p.m. when police attended an address on Kibby Avenue in Glenelg North, about 11 kilometers west of Adelaide CBD. Police found an 88-year-old man deceased at the home, but they were unable to establish the cause of death and the investigations continued. Then on Wednesday, about 4:10 a.m., police were called to the same address where a 63-year-old Glenelg North man was found dead. Detectives from Western District, the Forensic Response Section, and Major Crimes Investigation Branch attended the scene and are treating the incident as a murder-suicide, police stated on Wednesday afternoon. The investigation is in its early stages and police are working to determine the circumstances surrounding both deaths. Both men were known to each other and resided at the address. The death comes on the back of a shocking spate of domestic violence murders in South Australia that occurred within the space of a week. Last Thursday, police discovered the body of an alleged wife killer, Kevin Jewell, near Caramelka on the York Peninsula After a 2-day manhunt for the 55-year-old, it is thought that Mr. Jewell murdered his wife Jody with a gun before running off. Police revealed Mr. Jewell had confided to a friend that she was a victim of domestic abuse and that police discovered her body after a friend became concerned for her welfare. And then on November 16 in Davenport, Port Augusta, police allege Michael Amos, 53, murdered his former partner. Then on November 19th, police allege Morford Vale man Clifford Newman murdered a 39-year-old woman who was known to him. Then on November 21, a 50-year-old man was arrested for the alleged murder of a 44-year-old woman in the Adelaide suburb of Felixstowe on November 15th. There are now growing calls for a state royal commission into domestic violence in South Australia. There you go, another murder-suicide in South Australia after about 6 of them in about a week. So I'll report more on this tomorrow when more details emerge. But other than that, we are going to log off for the night. And I appreciate it. I hope you had a great show. Thanks to everyone who supports the channel. I really, really appreciate it. And we'll be back tomorrow night at the same time. And yeah, to everyone who likes the videos, leaves a comment or sends in a donation to the link in the chat or under the video, I very much appreciate you all. It's very kind of you. And supporting this channel allows me to do more shows. So it is great stuff. Until then, I will see you next time. Good night.